Hey guys, this is Sandy White from Simply Fit, your #1 health and wellness cheerleader. And on today's segment, we're going to be talking about healthy teens. So I'm going to be doing a combination of showing you guys a healthy dish and talking to you about some things that you can do to make sure that your teen stays healthy this summer. I don't know where you guys are, but we're on the East Coast and we had kind of a mild winter, which means we're going to have a scorching summer. And a lot of teams do play sports, but they don't take care of themselves. So let's just make sure we keep our kids healthy throughout the summer and beyond. Let's jump into it right now. The meal that we're going to make is just going to be a base, but it's going to have vegetables in it, and we're going to do salmon. The salmon that I'm going to use, as well as the shrimp that's going to be in the base, they're both will be wild caught. You do not want to do farm raised. Farm raised, you see how congested all of this is on my countertop? The salmon, the shrimp, and whatever else that you're getting that's farm raised, it's like jam-packed in a small compartment. And the animal can't move around. So if this one here gets infected, it infects everything else. Wild caught, just think of it where you see the bear standing at the edge of the stream and salmon, they're jumping off and he's getting them. He's just going for it. If one of those gets sick, it's just going to keep sweeping it down the street. Nobody's going to get infected. It's just going to keep moving. So just remember, wild caught. This one right here is the salmon that I'm using, and they come individually wrapped like so. And because we're using the air fryer, I don't even have to worry about thawing them out. And then I'm using the wild caught Argentine red shrimp. I thaw them out just a little bit, but not 100%. And as you can see, they're pretty, there's a pretty large size right here. But these are the ones without the tail. You want to do all of that extra work cooking them and then taking the tail off or giving them to your guests like that. I want my boys and my husband to be able to eat right away as soon as I'm done. And then in the base, we're going to be adding more vegetables. This is the fire roasted brand, and I went right to Costco and got all of this. This is just a combination. They have mixed broccoli, yellow and red Italian squash, red bell peppers. They have red onions. I'm also going to cut up a shallot. I think it just kind of like amps up the flavor in it. And they also have in here avocado oil, Himalayan pink salt, and they've got cracked bell pepper in here. So the reason I'm adding in all of this, and then I'm going to get to what's in the bowl, because a lot of times, and before I jump into the teens, when they were babies, your pediatrician gave you a list of everything you were supposed to make sure they ate. You did a list of when they urinated, defecated. Of course, your kids are teens now, but you still need to make sure that they're being regulated, because a lot of the grumpiness and the frustration that we see from teens, a lot of them are backed up. They're not moving their bowels regularly. They do all of the cookies, the cakes, the chips, and all of this stuff, and rarely do they get enough vegetables in them. Because if they're in a school where they have a meal card, the school is not giving them vegetables. So you want to make sure that they have something consistent when they're home, and you're training them to try to pick the healthiest option. I'm not saying take all of their snacks away, but you want to cut down on the excessive sugar, the excessive processed foods. And if you train them at home, when they go out, then they have a better understanding of the food choices that they should be selecting, which will keep them at bay. They're moving from adolescence to teenage. So hormones are all over the place. And if you provide the body with a lot of nutrients to kind of keep the hormones at bay, you have less of the angry teenager. And then I'm going to give you guys a couple more tips, but I'm going to show you all how I'm just going to put all of this together. And I use a lot of the heavy whipping cream because I don't want it to just be a flat base. I want it kind of not excessively soupy, but kind of like a soup base. And then I just basically put the salmon on top. So I use what I have. So I'll use the fresh tomatoes, and then I'll use maybe about 4 to 6 cups of spinach. And then I like the pesto basil, so I will add that in there. And the same seasoning that I put in the base is the seasoning that I use on the salmon. And I also put in the organic flaxseed. It has fiber in it. All of this has fiber. This has additional. And then again, the seasoning that I use, they're basic, like the Mrs. Dash. I have over here the Caribbean seasoning, sea salt. It's got a little bit of everything in it. I use a little bit of the garlic. I have the Montreal steak sauce. Yes, you can use it on your steak, but I actually like using it on my seafood. And I don't use a lot, but I use enough to make sure that the vegetables are seasoned. And then again, the reason I don't use a lot, because I just told you the same seasonings I use on the vegetables for the base, I'm going to use on the salmon. So let's jump into so y'all can see exactly what it all looks like. And I also add in carrots. If you add in the carrots, they don't have to be super mushy, soft enough where you have a little bit of a crunch, unless you want the total raw carrot crunch, which to me doesn't like add to the ambiance of what you're trying to do with this meal. All right, so let me show you guys what that looks like once you get it put all together. At the oven, you want to keep it down to a medium heat so it can do its thing. But remember, I told you when I thaw the shrimp out, it's not totally 100% thawed out because I want a little bit of that water in there. And then I don't cook the shrimp 100%, maybe 90%, because you're putting the additional vegetables in there, which you don't want to be soggy. And then the last thing you want to stick in there is going to be your spinach. And spinach doesn't take that long to cook. And then 20 minutes for the salmon in the air fryer. That's going to be it. And then you just plate everything together. And the reason I just want to show you all that, because this is really going to take you 20 minutes. With your teenagers, if they're playing sports, not playing sports, they're going outside in the sun. You can do where's the water jug? You can do a water jug like this. This has the timing on it. It will let them know how often they should be drinking the water. If you add anything in it, like the electrolytes in it, you don't want them drinking all of their water with that in the added electrolyte. Even though it's going to be low in sugar, no added sugars in it, you still need to have regular water flushing toxins out of your body. But what they can do is they can put some lemons, some limes, some raspberries, some kind of fruit in there. That's fine. But they need to do at least 16 ounces once an hour to get it going, get their body going, get them used to urinating, defecating. If they're backed up, they're crampy and they're grumpy. I mean, you're grumpy when you're backed up. So you know what to do, but most often you would think the teenagers do, but they don't. And now you're thinking you have a disrespectful, grumpy teenager, And it could be a combination of not enough vegetables, not enough water, keeping them hydrated. When they're not hydrated, this doesn't work very well. When they're backed up down here, this doesn't work very well. So everything has to work sync in it has to be synced together. And before I say that, I don't know how y'all school work, but where my kids go to school at, yes, they get the meal card. But if we notice that they're eating too much junk food, we can actually go in there and hit decline for them eating certain things. Do you want to be a helicopter parent? No. When you could just take the opportunity to show your kid what they need to eat, how they need to eat it, why it's important for them, and then eat as a family, I think that will resonate more to them than just, here's a meal card, go get whatever you want. Teenagers are grumpy, there's a reason, but they really do want to make sure that you care and you love, what's going on in their life. You love being in their presence. Just the togetherness. There's so many teens that don't get what I'm asking you guys to give to your teens. And that leads us up to suicide. And it's a touchy subject. I introduced my oldest boy to a program where it wasn't a full-blown program, but it was just I want to say like a mini program where it would put him in a position where he could be made aware of different things to look out for when his friends are maybe not acting like their normal selves, which would trigger him to say, hey, I need to go get some help for from one of the counselors or whoever is in place at their school at that time, because this person needs some help. I'm seeing these red flags, versus thinking, oh, they're just grumpy or whatever. When you're around a certain person enough, you know what their normal behavior is, and then you know what that behavior starts changing to. So with that being said, if you find that you have a teenager, because you still need the nutrients, but they may need some additional assistance. And I have 2 more tips that I want to share with you all. But make sure you call the suicide prevention hotline. Make sure you get them the care that they need. Now, the other tip, outside of moving all the way up to suicide, sometimes they just need to indulge in a regular habit of taking vitamins, eating healthy, but consuming their vitamins. You'll be amazed at what B12 can do for your body when you start consuming it, and you'll be amazed at what happens when you don't. And one of the signs is lack of energy, grumpy, moody, brain fog, the list goes on, and you think you got a kid that had rocks for breakfast, but they're just lacking in some nutrients. So it does take their part and it takes your part coming together so that we have healthy teens. Let me show you guys what the final product looks like. Let me show you guys. And we'll put it together and you get a sense of how easy, quick that was, what it looks like. And then I asked my youngest to come out, do a taste test. And give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. And he said he liked it. I asked him, hey, if you had an option to eat a healthy meal, would you, or do the cookies, cakes, chips, sodas, and all the stuff? Yeah, they'll do that. But how often will they do that? Versus if you're giving them, that's your option, that's your only option, or here's a home cooked meal that actually tastes well. Which one do you think your kids are going to opt for? Most of the time they're going to opt for something, well, combination. They're going to opt for the healthier meal, but they're also opting for the opportunity to be in your presence. So don't make light of it. Have them help you in the kitchen, and then spend some time. Well, that wraps up our segment. You guys didn't get a chance to hear that, but that little blurbish there, that was Mateo doing the taste test, giving me 2 thumbs up. He said he enjoyed it. I want you guys to subscribe, like, and share. We have so much that we want to provide to you all, and I want to make sure that you have an opportunity to never miss a segment. Share what we're doing in the community. Download the app. We are doing an awesome job, and if you download the app, you'll never miss what we're doing in the community, and you can get us on the go. Until next week, guys, love you. Mwah. Bye.